Good evening, folks. This is Deb Della Metronome, also known as Deb Della Piana and Deb Della Harpsichord. I'm schizophrenic and so am I. Anyway, yeah, forget it. That's an old joke. I just want to spend a little time talking to you about a few things tonight. And I just have to say, last night I watched as the Republicans once again blocked the voting rights bill. And I watched as two unabashedly white senators from the Democratic side joined forces. I also watched as the Republicans lined up to shake Kyrsten Sinema's hands, however the fuck you say her first name. Personally, I have a different name for her, and I won't say it here. But while I'm talking about this, I'd like to say that Joe Manchin, and Sinema need to go. They need to go. They need to be primaried. Even if it risks the state going to a Republican, take a look at what you've got there. What have they done to support anything that the Democrats have proposed for the people? And you know what? Please, I'm not entertaining this anymore. The two parties are not the same. They are the same in the sense that they take corporate money to run an election. That is where the similarities end. Okay? The Republicans spend all of their time disenfranchising people and keeping people from voting who they know will not vote for them. That is exactly what last night was all about. It was about keeping black people, women, poor people, any number of minorities, people of color, all kinds of people of color, not just black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. Anybody who would not vote for Republican is persona non grata in this country right now. And the Republicans have been working on gerrymandering districts and suppressing voter rights for a very long time. And they're on steroids right now. They're on steroids right now because their party is owned by the Orange Jackaloon. Okay? And that is who they get their marching orders from, even though the man is a civilian. Okay? He's no longer a politician. He wasn't a politician before he got elected. He was a fucking carnival barking, motherfucking reality TV star. Okay? And he's not a politician now. What he is now is a fucking grifter. He was a grifter through his entire fucking term. But it doesn't matter to white America, because white America has its injustice all lined up, and it's called masks and mandates for vaccines. That is the problem that white America sees as fascism. It isn't that in the state of Texas, they've literally written Martin Luther King, the women's movement, and other items from our historical past. They've taken it out of being taught. It's no longer required. You no longer have to talk about Martin Luther King or civil rights or white supremacy or racism. You don't have to talk about any of that anymore. Because why? Because white America has decided to legislate fascism right into our system, and that's exactly what they're doing. And in the meantime, I have people like Kat RS who I used to follow on Facebook. I dumped her a long time ago. Suddenly she's sending me Telegram messages inviting me to her group and inviting me to BitChute, a fucking cesspool of racist, anti-trans, anti-gay bullshit, so she can get everybody to get all the truckers together from Canada and the U.S. to get rid of vaccine mandates. Yeah, white America's got its tyranny now. And that's what they spend their time doing. Let's forget the fact that 50 people who took part in the insurrection are running for office. Let's forget the fact that already in Alaska, We have an oath keeper in office. Let's forget the fact that there's an oath keeper trying to remove Liz Cheney in Wyoming because she what? She voted for Trump's impeachment and because she's on the January 6th commission. Let's forget the fact that we have Proud Boys running everywhere. Let's forget the fact that we have QAnon followers already in national government. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Madison Cawthorn, Lauren Boebert, Josh Hawley. We have a whole group of fascists, essentially, in office already. We have 147 out of 221 Republican legislators who voted to overturn a legitimate election because their lord and master, the dime store dictator, lost. So now we have white America, like the douchebag that doxed me last week, telling me that masks and vaccines are fascism. But none of what I've talked about prior to this is fascism. That's all about parental freedom, parental rights. Now in Florida, if your teacher dares to talk to you about racism or anything that might make white America uncomfortable, other people can sue the teacher. Modeled on the restrictive abortion law of Governor Knuckle-dragger Abbott in Texas, who allows people to spy on their neighbors and sue them if they get an abortion after 6 weeks. I am so fucking sick of people. It isn't even funny. It really isn't. It's gone way beyond my comprehension. Cat RS is not a downtrodden, abused woman. She doesn't look like she's hurting for too much when I look where she lives and her digs and all of that shit. Nope. No, siree. It's like a fucking hobby for white America. All of this is a hobby for white America. It's called the fucking public health, morons. I have had COVID. It took me 9 weeks to get better. My friend Dave has had COVID. He gave it to his wife. He was hospitalized and had to have the monoclonal antibody treatment and remdesivir because he had a problem breathing. I shopped for two 80-year-old women at the beginning of the pandemic who were terrified of going out because they had physical problems that prevented them from doing so. I used to do their food shopping at 7 o'clock in the morning before going to work. I have had a friend come out of retirement to work in hospitals in New York. She caught COVID. She was sick for weeks. She is already back working there again. I have had a friend who I went to a concert with to see Tom Rush before COVID hit. She became a rabid anti-vaxxer, even moving her ass further up into New Hampshire so she could stay away from the public, so she wouldn't have to wear a mask, and so she wouldn't have to get vaccinated. She became a rabid anti-vaxxer, but even though she moved to a less populated area, she still insisted on going out to bars and listening to music with no masks, in close quarters. She died November 5th from COVID. I'm tired of hearing people say it's fake. I'm tired of the memes about there's already a new variant that's called, I forget what it's called. What the fuck's it called? How quaint can it be? I think it's called another con. I think that's what they use. I'm tired of seeing people posting that bullshit. I'm sick of it. I really am. There are over 5 million people dead worldwide. There are almost 900,000 dead in the United States, in a country that has literally the best healthcare services, doctors, science in the world. And it's all because of anti-vaxxers, and that was all started by the Trump administration. A man who interfered with the CDC's work and who vilified and turned Anthony Fauci into a target for people now threatening his life for doing his fucking job. Yeah, white America has found its fucking tyranny. And I have some really bad news for white America. All the while they have you distracted with this. This is your fucking distraction, folks. Wake up, white America. This is your distraction. All the while they got you running around in circles, chasing your own fucking tail over masks and vaccine mandates. They're really fucking putting the hurt on you. They're really putting the hurt on you. They are legislating fascism into our system. They are about to overturn Roe v. Wade. That doesn't seem to be a concern for white American women anymore. They're too worried about whether they can go into Starbucks without a mask on so they can spend $7 on a fucking drink. And as far as hanging around on BitChute, you might see BitChute as a font of free speech. I see BitChute as a hate center. That's exactly what's there. I deplatformed my entire group from BitChute as soon as Rachel Levine was appointed by Joe Biden. After I saw the comments about trans people there, it disgusted me. I never want to be associated with the right. I have absolutely not one thing in common with them. Not one. I will not unite with the right on any topic as long as they are legislating hate and supporting hate. And what do you think is going to happen in this country when all the Oath Keepers take over the fucking Republican Party? Do you think they're going to give a fuck about you? You better wake up, folks. You are all asleep at the fucking switch. And I am certainly getting sick of this. I'm sick of doing it. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of you ignoring all of it. And at some point, I'm packing this all up and I'm heading for the hills. I'll run my little radio station. I'll find some place quiet to live and I'll paint. And I'll leave all the rest of this bullshit to you. You people haven't got a fucking clue what activism looks like. You think getting people to join little Telegram groups on Facebook and posting videos on BitChute is activism. I don't know. I wonder if Cat RS is going to go out and find some truckers at truck stops to chat up, or if she's going to just direct other people to do it. Yeah, white America's got its tyranny. You know what? Don't invite me anymore. I'm not in that bailiwick anymore. You know what? At my age, guess what? I do get to choose my family, and I've already stated openly, I'm not interested in going to dinner with, meeting, hanging around with, visiting with anybody in my family who supports Trump, DeSantis, or anyone else. I'm not interested. That doesn't interest me. That is not something I can compartmentalize and pretend isn't there. All right? Sorry. And I also can choose my Facebook friends. And I have. My timeline is not your free speech line, and neither are my groups. You all better wake up. Sunday night's video, we're going to be talking about all of the insurrectionists who are in office right now, and we're going to be talking about all of the insurrectionists and the participants in January 6th that are running for office. There's a lot of them. And if you don't think they can win, you're out of your mind. Because they've proven already that they can, or you wouldn't have Marjorie Taylor Greene or Madison Cawthorn or Lauren Boebert in office right now. They can win, and you know why they win? Even though they're in the minority, the radical right always goes out and votes. The left, they sit in the fucking sofa and watch the Kardashians. Or The View. Or whatever. We live in a country where we can vote, and we can't get more than 50% of the people to go out and vote. And every time we try to create a situation where it's easier for people to vote, like, I don't know, making it a holiday, extending the voting hours, letting people vote at schools. Every time we try to do that, the right wing blocks it, because you know why? That benefits poor working class people. And those are the people that won't vote for the Republican Party, because you know why? They're smart. I can't even think about being friends with one. We had a guy, before I leave and before I end this conversation, we had a guy that worked with us, okay? We had a guy that worked with us who was out, in the Seattle area, in the Portland area, when all that unrest was going on, and he needed money. He was going to come back to Boston and go protest with us. We sent him money. And then, oops, he couldn't make it. When we checked him out, we found out he was an entitled white man with over $600,000 in the fucking bank. Wake up. I'm not saying we weren't sucked in. We were for a very short period of time, because nobody's immune from propaganda. Nobody's immune to propaganda, just like children aren't mostly immune to COVID, no matter what they tell you. But some people can actually wake up, see the mistake, and change what they're doing. Nobody in America right now is willing to do that, because the white man finally found his burden: masks and vaccines. Good on ya. Have a nice night.